Okay, so I'm in here. I'll go through the settings now. So after you finish when you start up Onward, first they'll take you through a tutorial. I would do that tutorial. If you skipped it, I believe you can do it again. Training. Yeah, you can do the basic tutorial again. And I would do that. But once you have that first training done, it gives you the basics, shows you how to run. I would mess with the settings. So I am left-handed and I'm left eye dominant, so I would have those left. If you have an opposite dominant eye to your hand, or you don't know what eye dominant you are, I would just do whatever your hand is. So when you make an adjustment to the gun stock, it will automatically lock to your dominant eye, and if your dominant eye is opposite of your dominant hand and you want to hold the gun like you would normally, I'm left-handed, so I would hold the gun like this. If the scope then hooks up to my right eye, it just feels weird. I would think that you would do better just getting used to shooting with whatever eye is on your left or right side. Like if you're left-handed, use your left eye. So keep these both the same by what you're doing. So weapon grip, I would do button presses right, holster type hip, gun smoothing. I turn mine off. I also turn off the scope smoothing. So what that does is it dampens where you're looking. So if I move the gun fast, it will go slow. So if I'm shooting someone far away, it'll be if I jitter a little bit, the scope will stay pretty locked in. But if you are turning fast or shooting fast, that can slow you down. So if you end up shooting further or sniping further, then maybe having these on could be useful. I don't like them, and I've never used them, and I don't think I will use them. Even if I want to be a sniper, I'll miss more shots, but I will have more fun doing it, or realize that I'm worse at it than I think. So have that done. Set this to your real height. If you change your height, either you will not be able to run, or you will be moving too fast. It will show up in the game. You want this to be a real height. If you make it way taller, then they'll think you're crouching down because you're shorter than you say you are, and then you won't be able to run. If you make it too short, you'll be standing up too tall, and you don't want to be doing that either. Then when you duck down, you won't really be ducking. It's best to set it to your real height. So for gun stock, I have it on virtual. I actually have a physical gun stock, so usually when I play, I will use physical, and I will use that gun stock, and I'll probably do a video on that eventually later. But for the most part, I would start with virtual. So if you have it disabled, then when you grab the gun, wherever you move your hands, the gun will move there. So you have to have it like sort of locked in, and it's just weird because you're not really holding anything and there's no support on you. So some people can play that way, and some good players can play that way. So if you want to do it that way, you can. There are a couple advantages over the virtual stock. You can shoot around corners. You can rotate the gun a little bit easier. You can shoot down low without having to worry about it. But I would recommend using the virtual. And if I didn't have the stock, I would use virtual, just because it locks into your eye and it brings this out of it. You aim pretty much with just this hand, and it feels more like, to me, it feels more like holding a gun than without it. It just feels a little bit locked in. So for radio position, I like it left. I like it the same as your dominant hand. For watch position, I do bottom left, so the watch will show up here on my wrist. And the watch shows you, if you play against bots, it'll show you how many bots are left, and it also is a compass, so it can show you which direction you're going. And if you play a gun game or another game like that, it can tell you the time, or it can tell you what weapon the leader is on and what weapon you're on. So if I put it there when I hold the gun, and if I'm holding the gun, I don't have to let go of the gun and look at the watch. I can put my gun here, and then I can see it, which is nice. Holster side dominant. That's right. Turn method disabled. Hold the grip enabled, and you have to be careful. If you change with a couple of these will get these can get shifted. I believe maybe it's weapon grip button press. I don't know. A couple of these, if you change, it will shift other ones, and then you might get because grip I think is important. You can adjust it, but I think you want to be grip, and you want to be grip to hold enabled. So if the grip to hold is disabled, then you push that middle finger hold button once, and then you're holding. But it just feels weird to me. Maybe you'll like that, but I like to be able to hold it like I'm holding the gun the whole time, and I have to be holding the controllers. So that's why I have it enabled. For knife damage, I have that as input required, which means I have to pull down this trigger when I want to stab someone. You don't need to do that, but it gets rid of accidental stabbing. Sometimes if someone dies, your friend dies, and you need to stab them with a syringe, and you reach down, you're out of syringes, you try to grab one of their syringes, you grab a knife, you accidentally stab them, they die. So that's why I keep the trigger one. For syringe use, I do no input. That doesn't bother me. Gun controls, XY thumbstick. That's what I have. I think yours will be different if you're right-handed. Yeah, AB thumbstick. So you'll want to be AB thumbstick, but for me it's XY. And so sprint control. There's single, there's double, and there's outer edge. I use outer edge. So when I move the thumbstick to the outer edge, I will be sprinting. So you will sprint faster a lot, and you'll be noisier. So you have to have more control of the hand. But sometimes these triggers, when you have to click them all the time to run, they can wear out. And you don't want to have to replace the controller. It's not worth it. You can just get used to this. At first, it might be a little bit weird, but also at first, remembering to click it is going to be weird too, and you'll just be clicking. And so I would say turn that off. So this is how I would have I don't adjust any of these. I don't adjust any of these. This is how I would do the settings. Obviously, if you're right-handed, I would do right bot. But this is how I would do it, and this has worked pretty good for me. When you get more used to the game, if this is like your first time playing, I would set up like this, play this way. You can adjust the settings slightly to whatever your preferences are, and do a little bit of trial and error. So after you set up the settings, then I would go straight into the shooting range, and that's what another video is going to be about. So, all right.